Okay, let's get started. And Ellie, you can close that screen. Good morning, good evening, depends where you are. I'm Irene Wong, your host for Everything Ballroom YouTube channel live. Our goal is to help ballroom dancers to have a wonderful, journey and smooth your journey, and then by talking to and share information and talking to experts. If you like what we are doing, please give us some thumbs and subscribe to our channel. Today, our segment is to ask the expert. I'm so excited to have the guest who has been a member of the dance community for nearly 40 years. First as a teacher and has compete both American Smooth and Rhythm professionally for 19 years. But she also mostly known for the creator as the glamour puss to help so many ballroom dancers to look amazing with the makeup and hair. But as of January 11th this year, Glamour Puss and this guest will be retired and say goodbye to the dance industry. And before we let her leave, and we feel that it's great time to celebrate her retirement and contribution to the industry, and then trying to pick her brain before she leaves. So, let's welcome our guest. This guest is Lisa Bentley. Welcome. Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you for joining
everybody.
us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you. Before we start, and let's warm up by asking you, share a little bit something about you, and maybe mostly some fun fact that people don't know about.
Oh my goodness, where to begin? Um, Honestly, I've enjoyed getting dressed up and doing productions since I was a kid. Bless my two brothers; they were so kind to let me dress them up for every single holiday and put on a holiday show for our family, complete with makeup, costumes, everything. Wrote the script, did everything.
Wow, that is fun. That's good that your brother's doing that. What else? That they are happy with what you're doing it. That's what you like.
Well, I always loved being in the theater. I did it through high school. I was also a vocalist in high school. I had acquired two scholarships for performing arts to a college that I never got to attend. My parents weren't thrilled with the idea of me doing performing arts as a living. So I went into the workaday world and then found theater. So I started doing theater afterwards. Didn't pay the bills, but I found dancing because of it. So instead of being a theater person, I was still in the performing arts with the ballroom community and have been there ever since. So I was about 18, 19. So,
Yeah, I feel that, I have a similar idea is that, I work for IBM or IT for so many years for pay the bill, right? But
right.
most of us actually, in our heart have some performance, artsy things, ballroom dancing just bring us out as a
Yes.
hobby. And, so happen both you and me also find that, okay, with the hobby, we add on some business to get extra income through the
Yeah.
process.
Yes. Absolutely.
Ye- So this is a beautiful thing. So, right? So now, you have been in the ballroom industry for so long. Why you retire? What's your plan?
Oh my goodness. Why did I retire? Well, 40 years is a long time. And I felt like I had done everything that I wanted to do in the ballroom industry. And then I decided that I really needed to pay attention to family. Unfortunately, at the beginning of last year, I lost another cousin and an uncle, and they passed within 3 days of each other. And so I found that traveling as much as I do, I missed a lot of things. I'm married, and my husband, God love him, he's been so supportive of me doing this and of my dancing. So he's been with me through most all of this journey. Um, he was good, but he got to the point where he was saying, "Hey, when are you actually going to be home? Because I'd like to actually go do something with you. So I figured it was about time to do that and spend more time with my husband and with my family that, they always mean so much to you. And I started working just after, well, during COVID, when the entire industry shut down. I thought I was going to lose my mind, because we're always on the go, and then all of a sudden you have nothing. And so you're sitting here going, what do I do? And I think that for most dancers is the ultimate question when they finish doing it. Unfortunately, it was kind of yanked out from underneath of all of us. And we were all of a sudden, one day we were going, and the next day we weren't going anywhere. And it was so uncertain for so long. So I have been going to a hair salon here in Delaware for the 23 years that I've been here. And my stylist actually asked me, she said, hey, we really, really need a receptionist. I said, I can really, really answer a phone very well. So they just hired me on to be a receptionist. And about 2 weeks in, they said, you really, really need to be a stylist and work for us. And I said, I have a job that I'm planning to go back to, that I really, really like. So I kind of walked both worlds. I would work at the salon when I wasn't on the road traveling, and they've been so good to allow me the time off to go do the ballroom stuff. So as I thought about retirement, I thought, maybe I'll just go get my credentials, and my cosmetology license, and work at the salon for now until I decide on what else I want to do with my life. So that's
That's
kind of where I'm at
beautiful.
right now.
Actually, I think life is I mean I'm a Chinese, right? We have a philosophy is that life like a floating in the water, and it will take you where you're supposed to be, and don't stress. That's my belief as well. I never thought I will be able to come back to my mom, like what you said, the family, but I am lucky to find someone to help me continue my business in the US, and a great team then allowed me to balance this. I'm fortunate to this, and I'm glad that you find it also important as a family to find a balance between work and life, in that sense. So I applaud you
But
for
thank you.
taking the steps and going for it. And I also believe that we should celebrate for for uh, people like you in the industry for 40 years. It is a contributions. Everyone do contribute to that. So praise you for that, and then let's celebrate this, and then I'm sure you're going to have a new wave on the next chapter of life, and I can't wait to see where you begin, and maybe we can do something together. We just talked about, you never know.
Absolutely. I'm always open.
Exactly. Life is a special things that we should treasure. So now I'm going back to your journey, right? So you have been a dancer, and why suddenly you switched to, a hair and makeup business? Tell us the how you started your ballroom hair makeup business.
Wow. Well, let me preface this by saying I have never had a grand plan in my life, ever. I'm like you. I really kind of let it go where it went. I was always that kind of, oh, something will show up. And it did. I was dancing, and because I was at the events with my partner, you have a lot of nothing to do all day if you don't have a student going. And back then, there were a lot more women dancing than men. So I hung around all day pretty much doing nothing. But I always done my own hair and makeup just because I'm that way. And there really weren't the number of vendors available to the dance community at that time. So I just thought, you know what, let me help my partner out. It'll make my life easier at night because the girls won't be stressed out. So let me do their makeup and hair, get them downstairs and have them relax, and everything's going to be great. They came back to me after couple of times and said, somebody pulled me aside and it's a coach and they wanted to know who did my makeup and hair. And I told them you. And I thought, great, that's perfect. And so when I went down, it just happened to be my coach that was looking at them. And she said, when I walked in the ballroom, she said, you need to do this for a living. And I said, no, I don't. And she said, yes, you do. And I said, no, I really don't. And she said, well, you will. So you'll put an ad together and you'll put it on my desk in a week. Perfect. So I did. And I thought, that's fine. Nobody knows who I am. I'll do it. I'll do a couple of events. Nobody will call me. And then we can just sweep this under the rug and forget all about it. Famous last words. 23 years later, we're here. So didn't kind of work out as I had planned it, but it worked out the way it was supposed to go. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. So it's been a crazy ride.
See, I was just saying, you never know, right? You say no, and then even though I was like, we talked about new skin earlier, I said my sister introduced to me to begin with. I said, no, not, I've been there, done that, not gonna do it now. 8 years later, I'm still here. So you never know. And I'm getting more passionate about it, and then, it take time. So you never know, right? Again, it's the life it's gonna take you, never thought of, as long as you have a positive mindset and continue to be open-minded. So I'm thumbs up to that. And hopefully a lot more dancers can get that idea that, okay, life is okay if we keep on learning, keep on growing, and keep on doing, and it will take us to where we're supposed to be. So this is wonderful. And we talk about that as a professional, makeup hair business. You get to meet a lot of people, get to hear a lot of things that you never heard of or thought of. Can you tell us some most memorable things from this career, or things that would like to share?
Wow. I like to always say, because in the makeup room, you hear a lot of things you probably shouldn't be hearing, things you don't want to hear, and then things that you do hear. But sometimes because you're so busy, you forget things. And so I tell my clients, I said, your secret's safe with me. I'm like Vegas. What happens here stays here. And I forget most of everything that happens because I'm so busy. But I think some of the most interesting things that have come out of the room really are just the people. The people that I've met in this industry are from so many varied walks of life. I would have never in a million years met half of these people and had conversations with them had I not been in this particular industry, because it is so diverse. Um, and I think, I said this in my farewell letter, is that's what I'm really going to miss. I love the creativity, but I'm in a hair salon and we do hair shows and hair competitions, which is like ballroom dancing stuff on steroids. It's just crazy. So I'll get my fix there, but it's the people that make this so interesting, and it's the people that make it so hard to make the decision to leave. you know um so I mean, I did hair for a woman who, I hope I get this right, I think she captained a submarine, like she was in the military, and I went, I'm sorry, what? It just it blew my mind. And she was just the sweetest person, and she was so excited when she got done, because in the military you don't do that. You don't dress up like we do. And it was just such an amazing moment for her, and to watch her joy and excitement at being so dressed up and so pretty, that, I mean, it just kind of filled your heart. You go, wow, that's so cool. And just transforming people's lives. Much like you want to do something and give back. And I've been blessed with a lot of great things in my life that I want to be able to give people some joy in what they do, because dancing is joyful. Dancing is, it's amazing. It's a magical experience. Um, and I think sometimes people get so bogged down in the compete, compete, compete. But why did you start? You started dancing because you loved it. And there was something that grabbed you and made you want to do it more. And competing to me was like big girl dress up. You got to go out and be whoever you wanted to be for however long that was. And for a lot of these women, they come in and, I've got women in IT that work in a room full of men, and they're like, oh my God, I would never ever dress up like this and wear makeup. They would think I'm crazy, you know? So um, being able to give them something, to give them a little joy and magic and sparkle and pretty, is when they leave the room and they're like, oh my God, I'm so pretty. It's like, please don't cry. Whatever you do, don't cry. You can cry your makeup off. Do that later when you're done, but to see them be so excited about it, right? That was everything that I needed to go home and go, the 18-hour days were well worth it, because somebody benefited from me putting my hands on them and doing something that made them very happy. And that's just such a big thing for me, is to touch somebody's life every day, even in some very small way, even if it's a smile, make them laugh, anything like that is always great.
You make me want to cry when you talked about that. It really touched my heart. And that's my belief as well, is that can we touch people's heart, right? Can we give a little bit? So what you said is so amazing. And you touch people. And you mentioned about IT people. I am from IT. I have been working in IT, IBM for corporation for what, 28 years. I keep telling people, you know, I don't dress like people think I normally see in the ballroom dance world. I dress up. I normally not, just legging jeans and not really dresses. And I didn't know how to do makeup actually before the ballroom dancing world. I don't really much at all. So I learned the process for it, and it give me, like what you said, this industry, why I'm now very passionate about it. It's really, I truly believe ballroom dancing is such a great sport that you can touch people's heart, and you can use it to have mental and physical health. So that's why we are here together. We are shaking hands because we have the same mission and vision together. Oh, that's so wonderful. So what will you advise, you want to give to people, in terms of hair or makeup or anything related to the ballroom dancing, right? So you are in the industry, you have variety of experience. What would you know, share and recommend for people? Maybe start with hair and makeup and then other things.
Oh, wow. Boy, you're asking in my opinion on things, and I could get into so much
Yes.
trouble right now. Um, in and this is so my opinion. I've been in the ballroom, and the ballroom world, and I've seen it from so long ago to what it's become now. It was very different back when I first started. It was what I like to call the golden age of ballroom. It was very old school. And I know people out here are going, oh my God, old school, blah. But it was just so different. I think when I have girls sit in my chair, what I really wanted to do was focus on them. And I know a lot of teachers have their own mind and their own vision for what their student looks like. But I think we need to look and ask the student, what do you want to look like? How do you want to feel? What is your inner self that goes, I'm fierce, I'm mighty, I just want to go out and, be a dragon slayer, or I feel like a real princess and I just want to go, be so pretty and wonderful. And then you've got those beings in between. Oh, I want to be a Hollywood glam. I think getting to the root of who you really want to be on the floor is going to allow you to feel that and to walk out on that floor and to be that person. And I believe, my personal opinion, you're going to dance so much better because you feel like what you want to be, instead of you're going to do your hair like this, you're going to do your makeup like this, and you're going to wear this. And, so it's, I think, because going back, when we teach, we are supposed to be teaching our students a very personalized lesson plan, not just something that's broad based. So if you're taking the time to personally tailor a program for that person, why are we just going to gloss over and make you a cookie cutter image of every other dancer on the floor? I mean, if that's truly what they wanted when they walked in my room and they are just, I really want to do this. This is what my teacher wants. And fine. Absolutely. You got it. But when they come in and they say, I don't feel comfortable like that. Well, let me see if I can marry what makes you comfortable and what your teacher wants. And let's see if we can come up with something that's going to satisfy both of you so that you dance and perform well. Because we all know you've just spent a fortune to be here, right? So, you need to go and feel good about it, because ultimately you want to continue to dance, and I'm sure your teacher wants you to continue to dance. So let's get happy with all of this. And my advice has always been to my girls, what is it that you want? You're paying for it. You tell me, and I'll tell you what we can do.
Oh my God. You are speaking to the choir, right? I'm in the ballroom dress business. Make you look good. I've always asked my customer or dancers that what do you want to feel like when you walk into the dance floor, right? For your next come or whatever. So you dance how you feel, right? I said you dance how you feel. You need to go for what you want. That's always I'm echo you so, so much. But a lot of students, they hated the dress that but the teacher they love the dress, but the teacher say no or whatever, they are 100% turn it down. So, like what you said, we as a dancer want to know and stand up to what we want and trying to understand why the teachers say no. Let's come up with a solution and trying to come up with both the best overall, right? I
Right.
really believe that, each of us have a feeling and each of us know what we look good, what we feel like, what we want to be on the dance floor. So I can't agree with you and any better because that has always been my things when I'm trying to tell people that choose a dress and how you feel and say, oh, I love it, but my teacher can, or I don't like my teacher. I hated my teacher tell me, but I need to because he's, tell me that I need to do it. So I can't agree with you more as a dancer, that we need to understand what we want and then
Right.
find a solution and be able to tell the teacher and say, I really don't like this. I want to do something together. We can come up with something for the
Right. And
best
I
for them.
think I think too, when you decide, and especially new dancers, I like to call them virgin dancers. Oh my goodness. They're so much fun. And most of them really, really don't know what they want. And I know that a lot of times, because dancing has become a thing now with Dancing with the Stars, it's been great for the industry. Um, you need to find you. And sometimes you're afraid to go, this is really what I am. You're kind of like, oh, I can't possibly say that. But you need to, what am I going to say? I think I just lost my train of thought. Um, you need to find yourself. And I tell my girls, especially when they're brand new, look, let me do something that's kind of basic, that's not going to freak you out, and that's going to make you feel pretty. And then when you go to the ballroom, everybody has a phone that has a camera. If you see somebody's hair that you love or makeup that you love, go up and ask them, can I take a picture of your hair and your makeup? Can I tell you, the girl that's having their photograph taken are like, oh my God, somebody loves my hair and makeup. They're more than welcome to let you take 1,000 pictures of them and people's dress. If you love somebody's dress, go up and ask them if it's for sale. Because even if it's not, that person who's wearing that dress, get their name and number. And when you're ready to sell that dress, you call them and tell them. Or if they don't really want that particular dress, but they want it in a different color or something, take a picture of it and go talk to designers. Say, hey, this is what I like, but be specific. Learn to get very specific about what you like. I like the updo, but I don't like these curly curls, but I do like something that's high. Great. I like this dress, but I really don't like how low it's cut in the front or how low it is in the back or that it's cut out somewhere. Get specific and be able to tell people more about what you really do like. And don't be afraid. Again, this is your investment. This is your happy place. That's why you're here. I mean, don't ever lose sight of that. And I think when we get into the industry, because I know I did, I did for years as a ballroom dancer, as a competitive pro, we get very caught up in the whole idea of being on that floor because it's very electric, it's very magical, it's all this, it's like, Wah! So you have to kind of dial it down and step back and go, what is it that I like? What is it that I don't like? And let me remember that I did this because I loved something about the dancing. It gave me something that's invaluable to me. It's not necessarily the dresses or this. Maybe it made me feel better about myself. Maybe it made me help me lose weight. Maybe it made me um, easier, not be so shy and to come out and talk to people more. I mean, there's all kinds of things. You just have no idea until you talk to people. But I think as new dancers, you need to kind of define before you get out on that floor, really, why is it that you started dancing? And write it on something, a little notepad, stick it on your mirror so that you see it every day. Because we can get very caught up and get very lost. And you know, sometimes you get lost so much that you can't come back. And that's a sad thing too. If you leave the business because of something that really shouldn't have been a part of what you were doing. So,
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I have in the business for 18 years and see so many people left
right,
because of, some of the pressure. They feel they're not, can't spend so much money. That's why I'm in here. Also, as a dressmaker, I offer people the variety of price points. It doesn't
right,
matter how you look, I want everybody to be able to look good, no
right,
matter how much price you have, and I think that's why understand your why is important, not just for ballroom dancing, for life, right? Like what you
right,
said, why you chose to do what we do, because family is important to us.
right,
That's why we chose. So understand our why, not just for ballroom, but for everything. It
right,
is a good guiding principle so we don't lose sight. In life
right.
or in ballroom dancing, it's the same. I'm
That's
trying to talk. Yeah, I interrupting you. Keep.
oh no, 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 you're fine. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's why I feel what you gave in turn of that is always echoing, right? So not just for the dress, the hair, and find the people that do your hair or the dresses that echo you, that you can connect with.
Yes,
Not because your teacher like a vendor, not because of someone say something, but you, who you want to work with, what kind of hair and clothes you like, and understand that is so, so important. And be able to stand up for what you like is a life skill too, right? Not always
it
be a
is.
yes man, but be able to communicate, find ways to communicate. Whether your husband or your kids or your teacher, it's the same way
Right.
to be able to voice your want and your needs and find common ground. I think it is a practice.
It is. And it takes time. It takes time to learn how to do that. But I mean, you can. You just have to feel, yes, this is me, and be very resolute in your convictions for yourself. So
I love this topics. Before we open up for the audience, anything else that you want to share? We're going to open, this is live, and we open up for the audience to ask any question for you, for your 40 years experience or comments. Any feedback or anything you want to add?
the only thing that I was going to say, and this is just kind of a shout out to all the vendors, a lot of times when students, ladies, decide that they're going to go to an event, a lot of times they wait till the last minute. That's kind of tough, especially on the vendors, because there are so many of us around now. You've got a lot of choices. And a lot of times vendors do not go to an event if they don't have enough people prior to going to actually support them and make ends meet, right? So I've always told my ladies, they go, well, when should I call you? Well, when you and your teacher have the discussion that you want to go to this particular event, you go, yes, here's the check, sign the paperwork. The next thing you do when you leave the studio, you pick up the phone and you call your hair vendor and say, I'd like to make an appointment. You don't have to know exactly everything that you're dancing. I'm a bronze level, silver level, gold. I dance open. I do smooth rhythm Latin standard. That's kind of all they really need to know. That's a general idea. And so that they know that I've got you for gold rhythm on this day and silver smooth on that day, so that at least you're on the list, and that you need makeup and hair, because it's very difficult to get your books taken care of when people are calling you at the last minute and you're going, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do with this? So after you sign your contract and you're blessed by your teacher, the next thing you do is you call your makeup and hair person and tell them I'm coming. So that's just my big thing. Always has been.
Thank you. I mean, sometimes we as a dancer, I'm guilty as this as well. We didn't think about that. And think about that everything, for the vendors, we are small business, right? Word of mouth important. So cheer for the people that you want to support with, support them, right? And then get it early in life. So again, it is a small community. Every one of us is trying to bring something to each other, right?
Right.
We can support each other, do a little bit, helping each other, cheer for each other. I think it is always beautiful things. And thank you so much for your comment. And now every single time if I compete, I'm gonna call a hairdresser much earlier now.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So let's open up for people on the live or on the Zoom. If you have any questions, you can type it in. Ellie will be reading out or comments you want to do, and Ellie can, represent you. Okay, Ellie?
Okay, I'm going to read the comments on YouTube Live first, and then I have a question myself to Lisa.
Okay.
So this is Rebecca Klinger. She said that she felt Lisa always personalized her look. Lisa always understood her personality and her dance persona. She always safe. It means Lisa always saw her, heard her, and then know others must have felt the same way. So thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. I think this is the best compliment for you retiring and people echoing you what you want them to feel and they actually felt it. I wish, always as a I am sure you feel the same way, right?
Yes, the outpouring of love when I announced my retirement was incredible. I never in my life thought. So thank you so much, and thank you, Rebecca, my sweet girl. So
Yeah, and then she
So
also said that Irene, thanks for inviting my goddess. Lisa is amazing guest.
oh my
yeah,
dear.
I I know I knew it because when someone in the industry for 40 years, Lisa, even though you said that you're surprised, but your heart said something to me is that the little touches mean something. You said that you don't have a grand idea, but all these idea is so important. And then down to earth, grand idea doesn't as good as the actual physical simple idea sometimes touch people more. So we're grateful and thank you for your 40 years service and the heart that you left and continue in the future. We'll remember, your great service and thank you so much for that.
I
Ellie, you
do
said
have
you
a
have a
question.
question?
Yes. I want to ask Lisa that have you ever had the experience when you're so busy, all day, and then have you ever run out of hairspray?
Yes.
And then what
Yes.
did
And
you
it is
do?
the most horrifying experience ever. It's awful. It's awful. If you've ever experienced a panic attack, yes, that's exactly what it's like. Um, but God bless my girls. I honestly have had some of the best clients on this planet. I have had girls go, I've got a can of hairspray. I'll go get it for you. Or I'll go run down and get some because there's a vendor selling some. Oh my God, please. Thank you. So they've always been so supportive and helping just with anything and everything that I'd ever needed. They've been wonderful. So yes, but it's an awful feeling to know you're running out of hairspray.
Yeah, yes, it's awful. Okay, I do have more questions on YouTube Live. Josh, he said that, hi, Lisa, I come from the era of Alan and Hazel Fletcher and Sammy and
Oh my God.
Shirley Stofford. You talk about the golden age of ballroom. He knew about that. And then how has ballroom and Ian changed in the 40 years since those days in which I grew up in ballroom, and perhaps you also?
Oh my goodness, yes. I grew up when USDC was back at, oh my gosh, now I can't say it, in Miami. And the hotel had the Poodle Lounge, and everybody was there. I mean, Donnie Burns, Gaynor Fairweather, all of these top level people were there. It was amazing. And everybody danced. They danced with people that probably were there for their first times, and they're dancing with a 10-time over, world champion. It was insane. Yes, ballroom has changed. Wow, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I think to a degree, it has lost some of the grace that we had back then. That's not knocking anything that's happening out on the floor because it is simply amazing. I will tell you that I would not want to be a pro out on that floor now at all. No way. They are the women are beautiful, they're athletic, and I think that's really where it is. Dancing has become so much more athletic and a true embodiment of the word dance sport, because there's a lot of that going on and it's impressive. I mean, to go to the ballroom, you're like, wow, okay, that's incredible. But when you go back to the old days, the golden days, it was dance, it was elegant, it was maybe stuffy. I don't know. And that's not a bad connotation of the word stuffy. It was just more proper. We've gotten a little looser now, but with that looseness came about a big difference in your dancing, and the level is exponentially higher than what it was.
So may I add on to your questions? That is very insightful about, grace versus athletic, right? You go to form really competition athletic wise. When you say lose grace, what do you think is more, if we say, okay, we want to go back, maybe more graceful, I'm not as athletic than the other ones. Like what I said, we are individual dancers. We do what we want, right? I think that's important. So I'm not athletic at competing in that sense. And I heard many of the judges said, okay, we need to be individual. So we need to feel ourselves. What would that grace that you were referring to?
I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier about you need to decide what you are as a dancer. What does your mind's eye see when you envision yourself dancing? Do you see yourself as a Grace Kelly, a Marilyn Monroe that maybe a little cheekier? Do you see something like, oh my God, this might show my age, like a Pat Benatar, somebody that's really a rocker and, you know, a little edgy? I think you need to decide on what your persona is that you want to present to the community. And I think that needs to be decided between you and your teacher when you do your choreography and when you do your costuming and your hair and your makeup, because that's a total package when you get out there. But I think that needs to start at home with your coach and with you really sitting there in the deep dark of the night going, this is what I really envision myself as a dancer. And it's not wrong because that's how you feel. You just have to figure out how to get it into your dancing and out on the floor. That's all.
I totally love what you said. There's no wrong in any of this.
No.
Dancing is an art. I keep saying this to my customer. Dancing is art. You feel how you dance. You
Yeah.
present yourself as an art, as a movement of the music of you presenting it. And don't trying to compare. A lot of time they compare themselves to someone.
Right.
And I try not to, I think that will be one echo you back. And then that's one biggest things I have learned through my journey. Of course, I didn't know anything. I do the same thing. I want to win, I want to compare, I want to be that, winning things, right? But when you get out of the winning idea, just be a dancer yourself. Just create the art form of yourself. You don't need
Right.
to be always athletics like the other.
Right.
You can be something so beautiful as long as you craft it yourself. I think
Right.
when you design the craft, you painted the vision yourself. It's like a painter, right? We are a dancer painting with the body movement. And your teacher is help you to put on the stroke, right?
Correct.
And I think together with you have a vision and you find the right teacher. Sometimes it's not only one way to paint, right? If the teacher
Right.
tell you you can't do that, but you have a heart, a vision to do that differently, maybe I can't say, I can't say this is that maybe find the right teacher also to someone to embrace you, to become the dancer, become the painter of your vision. So I think this is beautiful. Um, and thank you so much. Okay, Ellie, you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to read another comments, and then I have another question also. So George said that he's very interested in your perspective on how it has all changed in that time period that we talked about earlier. And then I remember one thing that I think maybe in CBC one year, you talk about you have 5 cats now. And I remember one time your cat maybe bit you, and then maybe you are in infection, but then you have a long day of makeup and hair you had to do. But then finally you I think you are in a lot of pain, and then you couldn't continue. And then at that time, there were another vendor there. But then the dance community was so good. Some female pro, they did their own hair. They could all chip in and help when Lisa was not able to continue. So I just remember the incident. I think it's very grateful for the ballroom community. And then, do you
Yes.
have anything you want to add about that?
Oh, good heavens. I my poor sweet kitty cat. Yeah, she bit me because I was grooming her and she really wasn't into having me brush her. So she bit me to make sure that I knew that she did not want to be brushed any longer. Unfortunately, that was the night before I left. And then by the time I had gotten to CBC and worked most of the day, the infection had started to run up my arm. And I had several girls who were doctors, and they said, you have a screaming infection. You have to go to the hospital like right now. Right now, put your brushes down. You got to go. So I did, figuring I'd get a couple shots and then I'd be back on my way. I was admitted and I was in the hospital for 3 days because the infection had gotten so bad, and other people had stepped in. And I had a makeup girl with me at the time. And so from my hospital bed, I'm trying to text people and go, oh, by the way, I'm not really there. I'm currently in the hospital and I won't get out. And as a matter of fact, when I was released, I got out and I made it back to the hotel to say goodbye to my last client that my makeup artist was finishing. It was probably the worst experience of my life ever. It was awful.
Sorry about that. And I'm glad that it covered. Any question? It sounds, Ellie, you have raised a hand again. Okay.
Yeah, Rebecca, she asked, will you ever think about just come and watch some ballroom competitions?
I would consider it. I wouldn't know how to act because I haven't been in the audience for 40 years, but I would consider going and just hanging out, having a good meal, a nice glass of wine, and go and watch everybody else work. That would be really kind of amazing, honestly.
And you may not, that may be something that pop your interest, and then you never know.
That's true. That's true.
Great. It sounds like we are perfect timing, and thank you so much for your service and celebrate your retirement. And hope you enjoy your family time. And everybody is going to hopefully see you in the dance floor one day.
Maybe. Thank you again so much for having me. I've really enjoyed our time together.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye. And then if you like what we're doing, please give us thumbs up and